Well, normally I don't really talk about these sort of things, but at times I really want to get these things off my chest. Is that how you say it? So I normally make videos about Marvel, DC, and anime, and rarely I talk about stuff like this, but I want to talk about it tonight for some reason. There ain't gonna be any fancy video editing or anything like that. I just want to share my story is all. So I have panic disorder. That means I get frequent panic attacks and life itself is like a nightmare. And sometimes when the attacks become too powerful for a long time, I can't leave the house because whenever I leave my house I get an attack. And the last thing that any guy with panic disorder would want is to be outside and have these attacks, and basically no one would help you and you would just be there helpless. And unfortunately I did have to face that reality once upon a time. So I was outside trying to buy medicine and I got a very bad panic attack. It was coming. I could detect it for a long time, but I thought that I would be able to tackle it. But once I got into the store, the attack quickly became too powerful and I was screaming for help. But in my country, these things aren't really as popularized or people aren't really educated into mental health stuff. So unfortunately, I didn't really have my prescription with me and I didn't really bring my panic attack medicine that kind of helps me to deal with stuff. So I was having a very tough time with my body and mind because obviously I wasn't surrounded by anyone that I knew, and the people around me didn't really want to help me. They were just looking at me like I was some sort of animal who was dying on the streets and whatnot. So after a while I kind of remembered that I had my phone with me. So I called my brother and my brother was like, wait, I'm gonna come over there. You just have to wait for me. And I think he took about 3 minutes to get to where I was. But honestly, for me, it felt like 2 hours have passed by and people didn't really want to help me. I was screaming at some people that please just take me to the hospital or whatever, but people were like so into their jobs that they wouldn't even bother trying to help a person. And I'm a guy who tried to help a lot of people in a lot of ways, and I kind of expected that someday, somehow, all that help would come back to me. But yeah, it didn't happen. That was kind of like the worst day of my life. And after that, for I think 5 or 6 months, I couldn't really get out of the house. Whenever I went outside, I got this feeling that I might get an attack, and whenever I did get attacks. So then my family decided to take me abroad to see some doctors, and I did that. But ultimately, nothing really happened. But I did find some good doctors in my own country, which is Bangladesh, by the way. And this guy treated me, and he gave me some medicine. He gave me psychotherapy and everything. And slowly I was recovering and I was regaining some of my previous abilities, one of them being able to go outside without losing control over my mind and body. And it is impossible for a lot of people to understand because you never had these things before. And I barely believe them at all sometimes. I'm like, maybe it's just in my mind, but these things are very real. But this video is also about good. Uh, This video is also about things like how you can manage stuff in your life and how you can actually live a fulfilling life. First of all, there is no cure for panic disorder. If you Google that, you will find it right away. But is that alarming? Is that bad? No, because a lot of us have different illnesses or different diseases that we might not know of. A lot of people have diabetes, a lot of people have heart problems. And so sorry about that. My phone almost died at a point, so I'm sorry about that. My phone just gave me a little bit of trouble. So as I was saying, that a lot of people live with a lot of diseases, and people have cancer, and people have stuff that would mean an early death. So at least people who have panic disorder kind of have that hope that their panic attacks won't kill them directly. So that's a good thing to know, because once you have these attacks, you have all these thoughts in your heads that are very, very hard to control. And they're hard to control because you're not around people who have these attacks like you do. For some people, they just think, oh, you're just scared and you're having this sort of a mental breakdown or whatever. But it, for people who know the fear and the overwhelming weight that this disease can cause, they know what all it's like. A taste of death is the only way to describe it. But anyhow, there are ways that you can manage your attacks, because we have to live a life. That's what I said at the beginning of the video. So what you have to do is, whenever you get an attack, remember that your breathing is a major part of the entire process. What I do when I get an attack is that I always realize that my breathing is getting heavier, and I'm like breathing too much, and too much oxygen in your body can mean a lot of bad stuff. So what I do is I try to control my breathing. I slow down my breathing. I inhale through the nose and exhale through my mouth. And I keep doing this, and I keep counting backwards. And sometimes I talk to ChatGPT, or sometimes I just hit up a friend and I do this breathing exercise, and I keep talking to them, and the attack kind of loses its power. And that's how I regain my control over my own body. And it's very, very weird to say it out loud, but yeah, this is one of the most effective things out there, and I can't believe that I haven't actually figured it out before. This is just one of my things that my doctor taught me. And of course, there are medications that I take that kind of help my heartbeat and stuff like that. So after I found these things, I remember posting it on Facebook, trying to raise awareness about it. And then I found out that few of the people that I know are actually suffering from this disease. So what we did is we kind of opened up a Facebook chat group, and every now and then we talk about our symptoms and how it's affecting our lives, and we sometimes even joke about it. And for some reason, it makes life better. I guess there is no better therapy than talk therapy or group therapy or whatever they call it. So these meetings and these calls with the people who have what type of disease I have is actually super helpful, because now I don't feel alone. Now I feel like, yeah, it's just another one of those diseases. You get a fever, you get a migraine, and it just eventually becomes better, but it comes back, and then and you have weapons to fight back against it. So nowadays, my situation is kind of like that. So I think finding a group that has what you have can actually help to regain help regain the balance of your life. And of course, the breathing stuff and the medication stuff and the meditation stuff, and also increasing your hobbies. For example, I make music, and I also talk about Marvel and DC a lot. And these sort of things help me to keep my mind distracted from the fact that I have this sort of disease and whatnot. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it is very difficult for me to find a job. Even though I do edit videos, but I barely get any sort of money from them. I entered like a competition at NAS Academy once upon a time, and I did win a lot of money. So that's kind of like a very good motivational thing for me, because I won like an international content creation contest. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, I did win money, but overall, I have no luck in jobs and whatnot, and I cannot do jobs that require me to go outside and be on site because of what I have, and what I have isn't that good. So I try to find work remotely because it helps me to be relaxed in my own body and whatnot. But hopefully I'll find work or whatever. But the unemployment is thing is kind of killing me. I'm not gonna lie. It is becoming another massive form of depression for me. But yeah, like I said, even though things are not good, and even though things might not work out for me, even though I might not have a career at all, but I'm still gonna try to find ways to make my life better and lead a fulfilling life. I don't know how, and honestly, financially, it's not even. I don't think I can do it. I'm gonna keep brainstorming, and I'm not gonna give up just because I have an incurable disease. I'm gonna find ways to make my life better, and I'm gonna try to help others like me. And that's kind of like my life's mission right now. So, anyways, I just wanted to get that off my chest, and I hope this video helped you, man. You're not alone. A lot of people have this sort of diseases, so you just gotta stay strong. Just stay strong and believe that the Creator has a plan for you. Thanks for watching.